1. Each of these videos, starting with this chapter, will go over the material in a fairly quick sense for each chapter listed. So we're starting at chapter 1, that's the beginning of the course. So ask yourself, how would I use these? Well, I would listen to each of these chapter videos before you read the chapter. In fact, you could use it as you read the chapter, quite frankly. I'm going to give you kind of just the highlights that I want you to pay particular attention to as you read the chapter, and then do the assignments, which will be in MindTap primarily, but not exclusively. This is not a substitute for reading the chapter by any means or completing any assignments, but this is a prompt to get you going in the right direction. So do it consistently, and it will help you get your work done more efficiently, for sure, and more accurately, without a doubt. Okay, chapter 1, the world of advertising and integrated brand promotion. This is a kind of a classic first chapter, as you would find in any book. It goes over sort of a broad overview of things. In fact, let's take a peek. This is the layout of the text. These are the first 4 chapters as a unit. So part 1 is advertising and integrated brand promotion in business and society. So it covers a very broad spectrum of things, not in a great amount of detail, but just an introductory fashion. So this first chapter is the world of advertising and integrated brand promotion, chapter 1, and in the yellow box you'll see the topics covered. And then it will build on that. It will talk about structure in chapter 2, and so on. Let's see here. So trends in branding and integrated brand promotion. Now, it would be my understanding or intention, though this is not a deal breaker, that you will have had introduction to marketing, and that should help you greatly. So you'll understand the position that advertising plays in the marketing mix, or the 4 Ps. Remember, product, price, place, and promotion. This is the communication phase. This is the selling phase. We're trying to connect, inform, and persuade are the 2 things you need to remember. Advertising's whole job is to, and in varying degrees, inform or educate the target market, or who you're trying to sell to, and then persuade them, convince them that what you're saying is accurate reflection of the brand. It's the reputation as a brand is, think of brand, anytime you see that word, as reputation. Whether formally created, which is what advertising is all about, is reinforcing our formal desire as a branding company. What reputation do we want to have in the target market? When you think of Apple Computer, for example, what do you think of? What are you trying to be reminded of when you see advertising? So you need to think of it in this way. It's not hard to do, but to understand at least, but to pull it off, to actually do it in context, is not easy. So branding, for example, again, branding, substitute the word reputation, means the same thing in action. And it might be more understandable if you think reputation. But distinct identity, values, perceptions that are set the brand apart. What makes Apple unique, for example. Integrated brand promotion then is we blend or use legacy media such as radio, print, TV, newspapers, and so on and so forth. Not that they're dead, but they're certainly not as powerful as they once were as an exclusive advertising media. But we want to be consistent with those. We want to blend them together. Integrated just means no matter what the media and its limitations or advantages, how can we use those to best tell the story, our branding story, and create that identity in the market's target market's mind? Many touch points, social media, apps, podcasts, all the different ways. There's really more ways to advertise now than there was in years past. It just seems as though when they say digital, that's just the pipe through which they go. That's how we consume the information. But each type of digital promotion or media has distinct, which we'll talk about as we go through the course, distinct attributes or qualities. Okay. So what advertising campaigns and integrated brand promotion are and what they can do. The whole goal, again, is awareness, create brand awareness or build that or reinforce that. Remember, inform, persuade. So that we're aware of. If you've never heard of Apple Computer before, have no experience interacting with that brand at all, you're going to have to rely on, or as a seller, a marketer, you have to rely on advertising to tell your story, at least hook their interest. We want to drive, what's the purpose of advertising? Well, to drive traffic to the store, physical store or website, different platforms, draw different traffic. We need people. It's like driving by. In the old days, it was a store with a billboard or a sign. We want people to stop and go in the store. Same is true now. It's identical. Only the only way it's different is one might be digital, the other is physical. Creative messaging. We need to cut through all the other messages out there. We're competing for attention. That's what the creative process is all about and for, and you'll get a chance to do those kind of things. Advertising communication process, a model of mass media mediated communication. Sender, receiver, how is it encoded and decoded? The advertising or communication messaging is, that doesn't change. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, really. So the production source, where and how is it created? It could be print, heck, it could be skywriting. Accommodation negotiation, how does a message compare then to what is understood? And there's where we need to break through that clutter in the marketplace, all the other things competing for the market's attention. And encode, decode is, are we speaking the language that the target market understands that's meaningful? Because if it's not meaningful, it won't be decoded or understood, and it won't be acted upon. That's a key thing to understand. Advertising is a means or a process to get an end or a result. We've got an audience. We've got the broad audience for computers. Let's say a more target audience would be a specific subset of that. These are things you should understand from marketing. Audience categories, household, B2B versus B2C, business to consumer is what you and I are used to. B2B is equally as important, if not more. That's business to business selling, and the same devices can be used in that regard. So business process contributing to the marketing mix. This is how is advertising part of the marketing mix? The marketing mix is product, price, place, promotion. Promotion tells the story of the other three elements. Product is the features and benefits. This is where we draw our copy, if you will, or the messaging. Place, where and how we distribute, and that might be part of our advertising. And then pricing. How do we position the product in the target market's mind through price? High price versus medium versus low for any given category. And it's a vital part about this. It supports it. It puts it into action in a lot of senses. I don't want this to become too long, so I'm trying to go as quick as I can. Primary demand versus selective demand. Primary is new to the world advertising. We're trying to make a dent in the market. We're introducing itself. It's sort of like getting a job where you make an application, they don't know you from the man on the moon. You have to send that information in, make contact. You're trying to get an interview. And that's what primary demand is. You're trying to get them in the store, or you in the store to sell. And then selective would be, more specific, mature product categories, products that have been around a long time, that are easily understood or very well understood by the target market. Different characteristics. From advertising to integrated marketing, communications to integrated brand promotion. You'll see words like integrated marketing. IMC it's just, no matter the media, we tell the same story. But IMC is coordinated and synergistic communication. Well, what is it? Synergy, and like this is a big college word. You should know it. Synergy refers to it supports the other activities of business that communicate to the market. So signage communicates. Who you hire communicates. Packaging communicates. It's reinforcing. You don't want to leave anything to chance. IBP or integrated brand promotion is brand centric or reputation focused. And these work hand in hand, or they work together. They're not separate. It's just one's more focused, a more focused idea. I think that will get us to where we need to in this first chapter. So read the chapter. Again, every week do the same thing, or every chapter do the same thing. Listen to this video first, and any other information I have for you. Read the book, do the work, and stay on top of things, and it should help you be very successful. If you need anything, please let me know.